Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today what I want to do is repot this Ficus Bonsai you can see right in front of you here. It has been in this pot since I bought it, it has been in the soil and since I bought it, and that is the main problem and the main reason why I want to repot it. To give you a better look, the soil is horrible, I can actually say horrible. The last couple of days I actually realized that basically it has washed out mostly out of this pot already and there's not much in there, so it's really hollow in here actually, and that is something we need to take care of. So basically consider it an emergency repot. We're gonna use a plastic pot that we're gonna use to basically repot this one, and of course change the soil as it is simply not fit for this bonsai. So first thing we have to do is get it out of this old pot. I have a little chopstick here to loosen it a little bit on the sides, because I do think it will hold still quite well to the pot it is in. And I'm just going around trying to loosen it a bit from basically the sides of the pot. We also have, of course, this decorative stone in here. It is actually fused with the pot at this point, so we unfortunately won't be able to reuse that one, but we might at a later point put another tree into this pot, and then who knows, it might is used for something else. So let me see where I can feel actually roots all the way down to the pot. I do think underneath the stone there is actually a root that is holding onto somewhere there, so we need to figure out how to best get it out here. That is always a problem, of course, with pots like this. How do we actually get the tree out without damaging the roots too much? Because it is definitely moving, but I actually see a very thick root going down here underneath the stone. So will we be able to take this root? Here it is already lifting, I can see that. So here I would already be able to take it out. We might, with just a tiny little cut, take it out of here then. So I think we can actually go in here, cut through, and see if this way we can remove this tree. I think it's slowly getting loose here. Yes. So as I expected, basically no root system at all. This is very disappointing when you look at this. After years of having been in here in this pot, you can see how little root mass there is actually on this tree. I'm surprised how healthy it actually looks in comparison. We have this very thick root here, and then a thick bulbous root also down here. The question is, do we keep it? I do think so, because this could actually become quite nice in a barrio in the future. So I would leave this on. Here we have that root that was a bit damaged now by taking it out, so I would simply cut this off. And move all of this out of the way. We won't need that one definitely at the moment. So let's take a real close look at the roots. We have this one here that almost seems dead, to be honest. I do see here some feeder roots on it. And other than that, it is really very tiny. I can see here where the root was actually cut when it was potted up, probably in this pot. So there was a thicker root coming from here. This is the one we just took out before. We have some dieback on this one, but some viable roots down here. And other than that, not much root system. But I do think we will be able to pot it up, and I think by using a more airy, better fitting soil, we can definitely benefit this tree a lot. So let's move right away into this section by looking at the new pot and how we're gonna pot it up. So as I said, I'm going to use this little plastic pot. I put already wire in here to tie in the tree then. First thing we're going to do is put a ground layer of soil in here. So what soil am I using? The soil I have been using now for quite a couple of trees. It's basically a mixture of very coarse pumice and some clay pebble with some organic material also in there. But as a ground As a ground soil or ground mixture in here, I definitely want mainly this very coarse pumice. Later on we put the clay pebbles basically on top, and by first watering it, it quite nicely then repositions throughout the pot. So how are we going to position this tree? That is of course a very important question. How deep do we have to pot, or how high do we have to pot to also show this little side root here? That could become a quite nice feature. I mean, in the future we might actually cut it off, go a bit lower here, but the Nabari from here onwards is not too bad. I think we can actually pot it like this. Taking a look at it, I think once we cover it, maybe move it a bit higher in this direction, giving it a nice view. I would start filling it out. So first, of course, we need to tie it in this position. So I'm simply using the wire we have put in here before to hook it to the tree as tightly as possible. And it holds, so it's not going to fall out. That is the important, basically the important thing here. Again, maybe improving the hook here a little bit still to really keep it in here. And then we just go around filling in all the little nooks and crannies around here in the pot. So as I said, mainly pumice, but some organic parts then also in there, and some smaller clay pebbles simply to get enough air to the roots, but also provide them still with enough grip to actually form nice and healthy looking roots. So here I mainly have now this clay pebbles and some organic parts, or just some old soil mixture. So it's mainly cocoa coir actually. Some stones I actually also had back in there. So I already went through quite a lot of different soil mixtures in my trees. But these ones I have now for a couple of trees already, and they are really doing well in this. So, and just spread like this little top layer of soil, where really we have this nice organic part, the mainly inorganic components, all nicely mixed through. And once I watered that, of course, this should mix even better then. So let's see, do we have this slight branch here? We do. A slight root flare here. And I think we can take a closer look at it and see, do we still need to adjust this in any way? But I do enjoy the look of it, to be honest. To show you the entire pot, it's a very shallow pot. It looks quite nice in here. It looks way healthier already now, simply out of that old pot of that very bad soil into a new soil that gives it a fresh start. Might even a bit too many of those clay pebbles on this side, so we might take out some bigger ones to not fill it up too much. Also give a nice view of the root flare down here. To just show, here you still have a bit of lime scale buildup. We will clean that afterwards also when we water. But all together, giving a very nice view on this tree actually. Also looking at the back, of course. What I at least consider the back. Definitely looks nice. However, of course, this tree is far from being finished, that much I can tell you. The plan, that has been the plan for quite a long time already, is to basically grow a new apex here with this branch. We might even sacrifice this part of the tree in the future, just improving the taper. Before it had no taper, so the thickness here was basically all the way up here, the same thickness still. So I took out half of the tree, had this new part of the tree growing, and it's getting thicker and thicker. This growth season I still will let it grow as thick as possible, and then work on the actual structure, probably either wire this down a little bit, or as I said, maybe even cut it flush to this part here in the future. That is still a bit open for debate, very much dependent on how this part of the tree is evolving and how it is developing. But I think we're on a good way. And repotting at this point will definitely benefit the health of the tree. You saw how little root mass there was, so it would never have had enough energy to really develop a strong root system that would support nice and healthy growth in the future and in the next growth season. And I think we will have that now with this repot. So we'll keep you updated on this tree once growth season starts, and hopefully we will see a growth spurt on this tree. I will make sure to fertilize also a lot this year. However, keeping in mind how little roots there are at the moment, probably start a bit slower with fertilizing and then getting more and more once the growth season starts, and I can be more certain that there already is a nice root system in here. But as I said, I will keep you updated on this tree. If you have any questions about this tree, repotting your bonsai in general, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will get to answer them as soon as I see them. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. And if you enjoy this channel, of course, feel free to subscribe to it. I would very much appreciate to see you in the next video then. Until then, take care and goodbye.